Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Ha'arakah Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of great millstone who rule well, and shalom to the hopeful elect. It's Payal of the GMS London camp, and this is an epistle entitled Only God Can Judge Me. Alright? And the reason why I'm doing this lesson is upon I had a conversation with an individual, someone I know from in the world, who is into the Bible, and basically was dealing with judging. You're not meant to judge people and whatnot, things of that nature. And I touched on a couple scriptures with the said individual, and I just thought I'd take an opportunity to just build, since it's something I handled through the Spirit, I feel like it'd be right to do a lesson on it. Because really we're in a time of, there's never been a time like this, and the reason why there's never been a time like this is for one purpose and one purpose only. For the Lord made the wicked for the day of evil, basically. The Lord made it as where this kingdom that's ruling right now, Esau, Edom's rulership, is for prophecies to come into effect, like a woman passing a man, Esau ruling the earth and having it in the worst state of where it's ever been. And then even on top of that, what's the other? For the prophecies that are set out before Yahweh Shai's return to play out, basically, and unfold in the most, crazy manner. All right? But in saying all of that, this bringing it back to the point of only God can judge me. Part of all of that, Esau's rulership, the time of wickedness ruling, you have one key. It tells you in the book of Sirach 33 that the Lord made everything in double, basically, and that good is set against evil. So since the righteous ain't in rulership, the wicked are in authority, because it says that when the wicked in authority, the people mourn. All right? And the people are mourning, but they don't realize because they don't know righteousness, they don't realize to what level they're mourning. All right? And I know that's kind of long-winded, but the point being is that the whole saying of only God can judge me is spawned out of this wicked time of rulership. All right? Because the righteous, when they rule, they do judge you. All right? They judge you righteously, so that they maintain order. All right? They being the elect of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, all right? That generation that always comes forth, that spoke of in Matthew, the 1st chapter, that anytime, there's righteousness in prominence or certain acts being done on the earth, there was prominent men. That generation was upon the earth, basically, all right? So that whole saying, only God can judge me, you shouldn't judge people, that's just so everyone can continue in wickedness, all right? But if you would have had order to the point where, if someone gets caught in an act of adultery and they have to be stoned in the town centre or the city centre, then that would, make everyone, step on eggshells, basically, and get right? And if they don't get right, they're going to, receive the judgment of the Heavenly Father. But so I want to delve into that. I want to delve into judgment, all right? Judging, all right? Righteous judgment, and why it's of a necessity. So without further ado, I'm going to get into it, and Lord willing, you be edified. So it's the book of Leviticus 19 and 17 and verse 18. So I'm going to read it through, then break it down. It says, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbour, and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbour as thyself. I am the Lord Yahweh. All right, so I'm going to read it again. It says, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. So in your mind, you shouldn't have any hate towards your brother. All right, and all I got to do is scroll up to the top, and this is talking about, I'll just read it quickly. Leviticus 19, 1 and 2. And the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel. All right. So he specified who he was speaking to. Speak to the children of Israel, the congregation of Israel, the flock, all right, of Israel, and say unto them, Ye shall be holy, for I am the Lord Yahweh, your power, am holy, all right? So now, so when it says, Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart, it's talking about the 12 tribes of Israel. You shouldn't have bear no hate towards your brother. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him, all right? So even then it goes, the Lord is going into greater detail to expound upon what is hate, all right, upon your brother. It says, Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Yeah, if you allow your brother to suffer of sin, that means that you want him to fall, all right? You don't want him to do the right thing, all right? If you see someone, and this is crazy, this happened to me yesterday. I was on the road, walking on the phone, and I saw a Jake woman. Funny enough, because the neighborhood I live in, you wouldn't see Jakes like that. But she was on her phone as well, nattering away, and she just walked off into the road, and I could hear the car coming from the from behind, and where she didn't even look to check. I had to just shout at her, "Yo!" And then she jumped out of the road basically, and she was like, "Oh, thank you." But you know, I don't care about her in no sense of a way, but obviously I do, because I'm not just gonna let her walk into the road and get run over. All right, you know, if and what so much more a brother in the faith am I gonna do that for them? And I can give stories and accounts. Brothers in the camp know the the kind of things I've done, and this ain't nothing. That's just in my nature to be that kind of person. So what so much if you're gonna point out, or if you're gonna be able to, jump out the way for someone that you don't even think is relevant. Let me not even harp on that point, because it sounds like I'm self-glorifying myself, which I'm not. Really, what you should do is, if you have a brother in this faith, all right, you need to be going, out of your way to really make sure he don't go off, man. All right, make sure he walks in the right way. So, how do you do that? By rebuking him, right, setting him right, and telling him like, yo, you shouldn't be doing that, because if you do that, that's certain things gonna happen. And certain brothers have pulled me up and done things like that, and I'm happy to this day, because I wasn't in my right mind in those said situations, right? So it says, verse 18, Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. Yeah, and you love yourself. You have the best intentions for yourself, all right, in a righteous form, not in a sense of greed, or where you'll take the bread off another man's plate just to feed yourself, but in a sense that you care, all right? That's why we're doing this work. Knowing the terrors of the Lord, we persuade men, all right? We're doing this in hopes of obtaining salvation for ourselves. So that's a love and affection towards ourselves. That same love and affection you have towards yourself, you should have for your brother, all right? That's why it says, Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, all right? You shouldn't bear no grudge or try to avenge him by doing, making him fool. But it says, But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord Yahweh. Yeah. So, if you have an issue with a brother, all right, like it said, rebuke your brother. Like you go, Yahweh laid it out. In Matthew the 18th chapter, he said, yo, go before your brother, like one-on-one, tell him your dispute. And if he won't hear you, then go and grab 2 or 3 of the congregation, basically. And if you won't hear the congregation, cast him out as a heathen man, all right? And that's really how you wind up getting kicked out of the camp or something like that, because when the rebuke gets, goes up all across different channels and whatnot, you don't hear it, and then what happens? You get kicked out, all right? But then it's the same thing. That's what Yahweh set in place back then, all right? And even when you go into Luke 17, it tells you about how many times, even your brother suffers sin 7 times, that you shouldn't, basically, that's how many times you should allow him. And we understand the number 7 means perfection, complete number, how many times it takes. And even it says the same thing in Matthew 18 as well, where it talks about how many times, to 7 times, and the Lord said no, to 7 times, 77 times, which is 539 in one day, mind you, all right? So you have to be ever merciful towards your brother, because you have to understand that we're in the flesh, man. We've all have fallen short of the glory of the Heavenly Father, man. All right, we've all fell short. But obviously, there's a line. All right, there's a line that's crossed where it becomes that, yo, you're just a demon. All right, but you know, in putting forth judgment, you always got to remember that, don't be going to your brother looking at the splinter in his eye, basically, when you got a beam in your eye, man, and you're trying to get the splinter out of his eye. Make sure you're right before you can be dishing out any kind of judgment on the brothers and whatnot, man. All right, and obviously through the Spirit is what it is. Okay, so I want to go into an example of this in the book of 1 Corinthians, the 6th chapter, because this is what I used against this individual I know in the world. And it's funny because, they'll claim they're Christians and whatnot, but they really don't know the scriptures. From engaging with him, he seems like he wants to learn and whatnot, but to what level, I don't know. I'm just, hey, the Lord have me conversing with him, right, and he seems to be taking it, so I'm going to give it to him. But the point being is that these Christians, really, when you open a Bible with them and you sup with them, they really don't know nothing, man. You read it to them and they're not envisioning the words in this book and taking the words off the page and putting it in their mind and projecting the whole scenario playing out before them, or these things that actually happened before, how it would have went. Okay, what would have been what was the contemporary, the things that were contemporary to that time, what kind of things were happening, and why did they do this? Why did they do that? All right. So anyway, let me get into this example. 1 Corinthians 6:1. Dare any of you having a matter against another go to the law before the unjust and not before the saints? All right. Because in this scenario, you had some of the Corinthians, basically, they went to the law. They went to the court of the Romans, basically, of the heathen, basically, rather than going before the saints. All right, dealing with it within the church. Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world? And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters? The smallest matters. All right, so Paul's basically saying, look, the saints, you the saints, the sanctified ones, the ones that made a covenant, gather up my saints that made a covenant with me. All right, you, the tribes of Israel, you're going to judge the whole world when the kingdom gets established. But you're here, unable to judge the smallest matters. Know ye not that we shall judge angels? How much more things that pertain to this life? So you're going to be judging angels. So why can't you judge situations in this life, right? If then ye have judgments of things pertaining to this life, set them to judge who are least esteemed in the church. Yeah, who are least esteemed in the church? The heathen, man. Why are you taking your issue from outside of the church to deal with it before the heathen? I speak to your shame. Is it so that there is not a wise man among you? No, not one that shall be able to judge between his brethren. And see, this was Paul's main dispute with this. It's like, what, you lot can't judge each other amongst yourselves? That you got to go over there to the law, the court of law? What's wrong with you lot? That was how he's feeling, all right? Because he was looking at it like, you guys should know what's good, man, all right? And it really goes back to the law, all right? Suffering no sin. And Paul's even, I'm going to read on, but brother goeth to the law with brother, and that before the unbelievers, all right? Now, therefore, there is utterly a fault among you, because ye go to law one with another, all right? Why do ye not rather take wrong? Why do ye not rather suffer yourselves to be defrauded? Yeah, why don't you just take the law in the situation and just say, you know what, is what it is. Let him, let me not worry about it. As Yahweh Shai said, man, how many times may a brother offend you in a day? 539, man. And you just got to keep it moving. Hey, even, the way you may deal with that is you may just to avoid any form of tension, you just remove yourself from the situation just to, make it as to where there's no tension, all right? There's ways to deal with this stuff, man. So you can just take the low and just deal with it, and that's that, man. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta worry about, like, just leave it. And don't even be sitting there thinking, yeah, the Lord's gonna get him back. Man, just we ain't shit ourselves. There ain't no one meant to be avenging us, our losses for against another brother. It is where it is, man. Hey, Satan may jump on you the next time and you do the same thing that you was stressing him about, man. Alright? So it says, verse 8, nay, ye do wrong and defraud that your brethren. So let me read that all together. Now therefore there is utterly a fault among you, because ye go to the law one with another. Why do you not rather take wrong? Why do ye not rather suffer yourselves to be defrauded? Nay, ye do wrong and defraud, and that your brethren. Alright? So that's really where it is. It's more, it's to your favor if you just take the offense, man. That's it, man. Alright? Take the offense. Obviously, if your brother goes wrong, whatever. But hey, if something happens, just take the offense, man. It is where it is. Alright, so this is Titus 1, and I'm gonna start from 13 and finish at 15. Right, so it says, this witness is true. Wherefore rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in the faith. Yeah, because the Heavenly Father established rank, alright, in the churches all over the world, alright, in the said places where they're at. And that rank is there for what? To keep the congregation sharp, basically, alright. They act as sheepdogs, shepherds over the sheep, to basically any sheep that wanders off the path, to basically hit, smack them in their place, alright. And when I say smack, like utilizing the staff to basically steer them back into the congregation. And that's rebuke, all right? Rebuke through the word, all right? Which is, the word is Yahweh Shai. So it's Yahweh Shai's spirit that's keeping them, that's rebuking them sharply and not suffering sin upon them, so that they're sound in the faith, all right? So it says, not giving heed to Jewish fables and commandments of men that turn from truth, all right? Because that's really the things that's going to take you away from the doctrine, taking heed to Jewish fables, basically, all right? Unto the pure, all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure, but even their mind and conscience is defiled, all right? So the main point being, this witness is true. Wherefore rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in the faith. Yeah, you got to keep them sound in the faith, because look, at the end of the day, it goes back to the law, all right, which is the law about loving thy neighbor as thyself, all right. Really, Yahweh Shai broke it down. He said the two greatest commandments is to love the Heavenly Father with all thy heart, all right, and to also love thy neighbor as thyself. By those two said laws hang all the laws, is the foundation for all the laws, basically. Because if you love the Heavenly Father, right, that love is going to be personified amongst the congregation of your brethren. Because what the Heavenly Father told you to do, you're going to make sure your brother's doing it. And then that's what would lead you to maintain that rebuke, where it's needed. Rebuke and reproof, all right? And that's why the Lord said, in the book of John, 1 John, he spoke of basically that, like, if a man says that he loves the Heavenly Father, but you don't love his brother on earth, how then does he love the Heavenly Father? Because if you love the Heavenly Father, you're gonna love your brother that's here before you every day, all right? That's really what you're gonna do. And we obviously know that those that are the brothers are who? Those that do the will of the Heavenly Father. They're the brothers, all right, in the faith. So with that, man, that's the reason why ultimately, you have to judge, all right? There ain't no only God can judge me. Yeah, brother, don't worry. We will go off. No. None of that, man. You got to apply pressure where it's needed, yeah? And that's to keep the brothers sharp in the faith, all right? And really, it's for the elect. This word is only for the elect, and the elect are the only ones that are going to get. So with that, I pray you're edified. Till the next one, I say shalom.